Okay, so let's jump right into it because we've got a major development coming out of Pakistan's Supreme Court today, and this is a big one. The court is making a really remarkable move, stepping directly into what is, one of the most sensitive and politically charged situations in the country.
And for the very first time, the court is asking a question that sounds simple on the surface, but believe me, the implications are huge. The question is, what are the true conditions inside former Prime Minister Imran Khan's jail cell? I mean, after months and months of speculation, all these conflicting reports, these crazy legal battles, the Supreme Court is basically saying, enough, we need to see this for ourselves. So, all eyes are now on what's really going on inside Adiala jail.
So, what is this landmark move? What's actually happening? Well, the Supreme Court has ordered a completely independent inspection of Imran Khan's living conditions. And let's be clear, this is not just some routine checkup. No way. This is a direct, high-level judicial intervention into the very state of his imprisonment.
And to really get the weight of this, you have to understand, for his entire time in prison, no official, nobody appointed by the court, has ever been given direct access to his actual cell. This order, it changes everything. It's a total game changer, really an unprecedented moment in this whole legal saga.
Now, the court didn't just, issue a vague order. They appointed a specific person to get this done. They've basically created a one-man commission. And who they chose, well, that's a huge part of the story.
The person they've appointed is Barrister Salman Safdar. Now here's the twist. He's also Imran Khan's lawyer, but the court has given him a special title for this job, Friend of the Court, or amicus curiae if you want the legal term. It's a special status that means, for this specific task, he's not supposed to be Khan's advocate. He's acting as an impartial representative of the Supreme Court, and his only job is to give them a neutral, honest assessment.
And his mission is spelled out in 4 really clear, really urgent steps. 1. Get to Adiala jail. 2. Meet face-to-face with Imran Khan. 3. Do a full, thorough assessment of his living conditions. And 4. Write up a detailed report and get it to the Supreme Court by the very next day. So yeah, this is all happening under a super tight deadline.
Which, of course, brings up the big question. Why now? Why this sudden, decisive action from the court? Well, it turns out this whole thing was triggered by something that happened behind closed doors, something to do with a secret government report.
Okay, so before this new order came down, the Attorney General had already given the court a government report on Khan's conditions. But, and this is the key part, it was delivered in chamber. That basically means it was a secret document just for the Chief Justice's eyes. The court's new commission? It's the total opposite. The report from this investigation is required to be read out loud in open court. That's a huge, powerful signal that the court is pushing for transparency.
And this is absolutely not a coincidence. The Chief Justice's move to get his own investigator is a direct response to being handed that secret report. It's like the court is saying, all right, thanks for your version, now we're going to get our own, and we're going to do it out in the open for everyone to see.
Okay, so this brings us to what is probably the most controversial part of this whole decision, the choice of the commissioner. I mean, picking the prisoner's own lawyer to be the court's supposedly impartial observer? Yeah, that has definitely raised some eyebrows and drawn some criticism.
So let's break down both sides of this argument. The case against him is pretty obvious, right? There's a potential conflict of interest, a real risk of a biased report. But the argument for choosing him is a little more subtle. Think about it. The court needs someone that Imran Khan will actually trust, someone he'll feel comfortable speaking openly and honestly with. The government side of the story, they've already submitted that in their secret report. This is about getting the prisoner's side, and to do that, you absolutely need trust.
And lawyer Salman Akram Raja really sums it up well. He said the whole point was to find someone who had the confidence of both Imran Khan and the court. So the Supreme Court is essentially taking a leap of faith here. They're trusting that Salman Safdar can put on his professional officer of the court hat and just report the facts, no matter what his relationship with his client is.
So where do we go from here? What's the bigger picture? Well, this inspection is about so much more than just, the size of a jail cell or what he's getting for dinner. This whole thing is opening the door to a much bigger, much more fundamental conversation about a prisoner's constitutional rights.
Because when they say living conditions, they mean the whole shebang. We're talking everything from the physical state of the cell to his daily routine to whether or not he's being kept in solitary confinement. But here's the really crucial part. It also looks at his access to his family and his legal team, and that is an absolutely essential right for any defendant, let alone someone who's facing literally hundreds of cases. This is a deep dive into whether due process is actually being followed.
And wow, things are moving fast. The visit to the jail is happening today, the report is due tomorrow, and then, the day after that, the Supreme Court is holding a hearing to look at both reports, the government secret one and this new public one. It's really setting the stage for a major showdown in court.
And when they get into that hearing, the real issue at the heart of it all will be the fundamental rights that are guaranteed to every single prisoner. Can someone, anyone, really get a fair shot in the legal system if they're being denied consistent, meaningful access to their lawyers and their family? That's the huge constitutional question the court is about to tackle.
You know, one of the lawyers involved, Salman Akram Raja, said something that I think just perfectly captures the spirit of this whole thing. He said, "I don't live on hope or certainty anymore. I live on the struggle, on doing what is right." It's such a powerful idea, right? It's not about being sure of the outcome. It's about staying in the fight, continuing the process, and just doing what you believe is right, one day at a time.
And that really leaves us with the big question to chew on. A single visit to a jail cell might seem like a small thing, but when you look at the whole picture, it's a really significant push for judicial oversight, for transparency. So, is this a real turning point, or is it just one more small step on a very, very long and uncertain road? I guess we'll find out in the coming days.